Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to Hidden Korea. Today, we invite you to uncover a story that has stunned fans across the nation, a revelation so unexpected, so deeply buried, that it nearly shattered one of Korea's most beloved love stories. Woo Bin and Shin finally exposed the hidden truth that nearly destroyed their 10-year love. What was the secret they kept hidden for so long? And why are they choosing to reveal it now? Stay with us, because the truth you're about to hear may change everything. Let's begin. For years, the world believed their love story was unshakable, two stars bound together through storms, illnesses, and the relentless pressure of fame. To fans, Kim Woo Bin and Shin were the proof that real love could survive anything. But beneath the glamorous facade lay a truth so dark, so suffocating, that it threatened to tear their decade-long relationship apart from the inside. And when the couple finally broke their silence, Korea froze, stunned by a revelation no one ever saw coming. The unraveling began quietly, almost invisibly. Woo Bin had just recovered from his devastating battle with cancer, a period that left both of them emotionally shattered but clinging desperately to each other. Yet even as the public celebrated his return, a strange tension settled in the space between them, an unspoken heaviness that followed them everywhere they went. Reporters noticed it first, the way his eyes dimmed at certain questions, how her smile faltered just a fraction of a second too long. Something was wrong. And the truth was far more complicated than anyone dared to imagine. Behind closed doors, their home, once filled with laughter, became a battlefield of whispers and sleepless nights. Woo Bin would wake in cold sweats, trembling, haunted by guilt he refused to name. Shin, desperate yet patient, watched the man she loved pull further and further away. Fear itself had wrapped chains around him. Some nights, she found him sitting alone in the living room, staring at the wall with a look so haunted it chilled her to the core. But whenever she approached, he forced a smile and insisted everything was fine. She knew it wasn't. Rumors grew like wildfire, rumblings of a past betrayal, of a secret deal, of something Woo Bin had hidden during his illness that he now feared would destroy them. Fans dismissed the gossip, believing their love stronger than any scandal. But reality was cruel. With every passing week, the silence between them deepened until even breathing felt painful. Min's heart fractured each time he turned away. She didn't want to lose him, but she could feel him slipping through her fingers like water. The breaking point came on a night heavy with rain, thunder shaking the windows as if the sky itself was warning them of what was about to happen. Woo Bin collapsed onto the floor, hands pressed to his face, body shaking uncontrollably. It was the first time Min saw him truly break. She rushed to him, gripping his shoulders as he choked out a sentence that shattered the entire foundation of their love. "There's something I never told you, something I should have confessed 10 years ago." The world outside continued spinning, unaware that inside their home, secret buried for a decade was about to erupt. Min froze, realizing this was the truth that had been eating him alive. She braced herself, prepared for anything. An old relationship, a hidden betrayal, a long-lost mistake. But what Woo Bin revealed was far more devastating than she imagined. It wasn't a scandal. It wasn't infidelity. It was a decision he made in silence at the beginning of their relationship. One that chained their entire future to consequences he could no longer escape. Before he could confess fully, a sudden phone call interrupted them, his mother, crying, voice trembling with a fear Min had never heard before. Someone from Woo Bin's past had resurfaced. Someone holding something powerful enough to destroy not only his public image but the fragile remains of the love he was desperately trying to protect. As Min listened to the terrified voice on the other end of the line, her blood ran cold. The pieces clicked together. Sleepless nights, the panic attacks, the sudden distance. Woo Bin hadn't been pulling away because he stopped loving her, he had been trying to shield her from the storm that had finally arrived at their door. And that storm carried the truth he feared most. Night, neither of them slept. They sat together in silence as lightning split across the sky, waiting for the inevitable moment when the past would rise and demand to be faced. Tomorrow, the world would hear their confession. Tomorrow, the truth that nearly destroyed their 10-year love would finally come to light. The next morning arrived with a heaviness that felt unnatural, as if the air itself knew a long-hidden truth was about to surface. News outlets buzzed with speculation, crafted wild theories, and social media trembled under the pressure of unanswered questions. Inside their home, Wu Bin and Shin Min sat in a silence thick enough to crush them. They knew the world was watching. Time was up. But neither was prepared for how violently the past would strike when it finally arrived. The doorbell shattered the stillness. Flinched. Wu Bin stiffened. When he opened the door, a man stood waiting, someone they both hoped they would never see again. His presence alone sucked the warmth from the room. Carried a small folder. Worn and weathered. Edges curled like something handled too many times with trembling hands. Wu Bin's face drained of color. Min knew instantly, this was the ghost he had been running from. The man stepped inside without a word, his eyes cold. His smile thin and poisonous. He placed the folder on the table and slid it toward Wu Bin. The sound of paper scraping wood echoed like a blade being unsheathed. 10 years, the man said quietly. You thought you could hide this forever. Min-Ah's heart pounded in her ears. He watched Wu Bin's hands shake as he opened the folder, revealing documents he had prayed would never resurface. A contract. A signature. A decision made long ago, one that carried the weight of desperation, fear, and youth. At the start of their relationship. Before he became famous. Before the world adored him. Bin had signed a binding agreement with this man's agency. In exchange for financial help his family desperately needed. This was simple but devastating, if Wu Bin ever attempted to break free. The agency had the right to manipulate, blackmail, expose personal information, including details about anyone connected to him. And he had kept this secret from Shin Min. Not because he wanted to deceive her, but because he believed she deserved a man untainted by mistakes made in a moment of panic. The contract was a shadow following him everywhere. Around his life each time he reached new success. When he fell ill, the shadow grew darker. Min-Ah stayed by his bedside, holding his hand through every moment of suffering. The guilt became unbearable. Thought he could end the contract quietly after recovery. He thought he could finally free himself. He was wrong. The man leaned back, smirking. You're a national sweetheart couple now. Imagine what will happen when the world learns you started your career under my terms. Imagine what they'll say about her. As the dagger. Min-Ah closed her eyes. Tears burning behind her lashes. She finally understood. Distant stare. Every sleepless night. Every time Wu Bin pushed her away. It wasn't rejection, it was protection. He wasn't afraid of losing his career. He was afraid of losing her. Wu Bin dropped to his knees. Voice hoarse and trembling. I didn't tell you because I didn't want this darkness to touch you. I never wanted you to be dragged into my mistakes. Min-Ah knelt beside him, cupping his face with hands steadier than her heart. You should have told me, she whispered. Could have faced it together. The man scoffed, rising as if he already owned the outcome. It's too late. Story breaks today. But for the first time in 10 years, Wu Bin didn't flinch. He stood, pulling Min-Ah up with him, fingers entwining with hers. This was quiet but firm, burning with years of fear finally transforming into resolve. No. We will tell the truth ourselves. Within an hour, the couple held an emergency press conference. Cameras flashed. Reporters whispered. The entire nation breathlessly waiting. Wu Bin's hands trembled under the lights. But Min-Ah squeezed them gently, grounding him. Then he spoke. He revealed everything, every mistake, every fear. The moment he hid behind silence. Gasps rippled through the room. Some reporters were stunned. Others were moved to tears. But the most powerful reaction came not from the press. Not from the public, but from Min-Ah. She stepped toward the microphone and said, without hesitation, I choose him. For his past. Not for his fame. For the man he has fought to become. That single sentence changed everything. Sentiment flipped instantly. Instead of a criticism, waves of support poured in. Fans defended them. Celebrities shared words of strength. And ordinary citizens admired their honesty. The agency that once held Wu Bin captive was exposed, condemned, and forced into legal accountability. For the first time in a decade, he was free. That night, as they returned home, exhausted yet lighter than they had ever felt, Wu Bin whispered, I'm sorry it took me 10 years to tell you. Min-Ah leaned her head against his shoulder, smiling softly. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you told me before it was too late. And for the first time since the storm began, they held each other without fear, without secrets, and without the weight of the past pulling them apart. 10-year love had been tested by shadows, nearly destroyed by silence, but in the end, survived. Stronger, braver, unbreakable. Because the truth, no matter how dark, cannot destroy a bond built on devotion. It can only reveal it. In the end, the truth that once threatened to shatter their 10-year love became the very thing that strengthened it. Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-ar walked through fear, guilt, and darkness hand in hand, proving that love is not defined by perfection. The courage to face the past together. Their confession did not destroy them, it liberated them. At liberation, Korea witnessed not a scandal, but a love story reborn, brighter and more resilient than ever. Thank you, dear viewers, for staying with us through this emotional journey. Thank you for watching, for listening, for sharing each heartbeat of this story with us. This is Hidden Korea. We are grateful for your time and your trust. See you again in our next episode, where another truth waits to be uncovered.